You are now listening to the Flaming Melon Podcast, featuring your hosts, the Watermelon Boys, Lucas Beaudois and Patrick Riley. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. And make sure to look both ways at the stop sign because the Watermelon Boys and affiliate networks will not be held liable for any accidents caused by this pod. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Flaming Melon Podcast. That felt a little strong to me, but we're going to carry with it, folks, because that's what we do. We carry with the waves and we fly among the sky. Today, I am Patrick, and tomorrow probably the same, but Lucas is here with me. Lucas?
Hey, everyone. How we doing?
All right, as if they care or will respond or you'll hear them. How are you guys doing?
We also have a special guest with us, our first guest of the Flaming Melon Pod. We are joined by Peter Hofstra. Peter, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Glad to
Hey,
have
Peter.
you.
Happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here. I'm excited to do the podcast with you guys today.
Yeah, what an honor that is. You are the first special guest of the Flaming Melon Podcast. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty dang good. Pretty dang good.
Good. And that
Nice.
feeling should
Besides,
only...
besides, the whole COVID thing.
Well, yes, Peter does have COVID, and can we get some applause in the... Well, I'm not going to force that to be in post, so we're just going to do it right here. We... All
Surviving.
right. Yeah.
Surviving, baby.
Well, good news is you're on the upswing to an extent, so we're happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, aside from that, in maraschino cherry news, there's been, I don't know if you guys been keeping up? Have you guys heard this?
I've been keeping up, but you always seem to have fresh news, so I'm excited to hear what you're going to say.
The news is fresh, but the maraschino cherries are pickled. So yeah, so that's the thing. Maraschino cherries can stay in a jar. It's breaking news, actually. It just heard it. Just getting it right now through the earpiece. Maraschino cherries can stay alive up to 30 years pickled.
Wow. Now, by alive, do you mean they don't expire or that they are a living thing?
It means they have a soul.
Oh.
Interesting.
They are
Now, how long do they
didn't
live
know.
if they're not pickled?
It's really anybody's guess. They're not. We don't like to talk about them on here, frankly, and I think it kills the mood.
So is it because, you're adding spirits to the cherries?
We don't use
That's a good
alcohol.
question.
We don't use alcohol.
Oh, okay.
We just.
You
Well,
said
we
they had
do-
a soul. I was just wondering,
Yeah, like feet. They have shoes. They have
Oh, that kind of soul.
Oh, okay.
maraschino cherries are the world's first fruit that actually require shoes to be able to travel. That's actually maraschino cherries. You know the invention of the assembly line. Was it Henry Ford?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I don't actually know, but that sounds like it could be true.
It sounds
Yeah,
like
well-
an old wives' tale that we were taught as kids or something.
Well, I think it's true, and if I am right and you guys are wrong, then I think I need like a special title or a crown or something. But anyways, before the assembly line was created by, we're gonna say, Henry Ford, before that was created, maraschino cherries were pickled because they didn't need an assembly line for them. They walked down the line. So yeah,
Ransom E. Olds.
Ah,
yeah. So you heard it from Peter.
Ransom E. Olds is the guy who invented the assembly line.
Now that sounds
Nice.
made up. Henry Ford. We're gonna do some.
No,
that was
look it
no. I
up.
think Henry Ford's a little too on the nose. That's
It makes a little too
that
much
seems
sense.
almost too likely. Yeah.
Ransom E. Olds.
Ernest P. Worrell.
No, Ransom E. Olds.
Ernest Goes to Camp?
Yes.
Well, the jury's still out on that one, but we're going to say Henry Ford was the inventor of the maraschino cherry assembly line. So that's when you saw the assembly line come out, maybe it was 20 years ago, the maraschino cherries, they had to cut the legs off of them. So it actually went from being a vegan snack to being a non-vegan snack.
Which is a real bummer for myself.
But that doesn't even make sense because vegans wouldn't eat it if it had legs or with. I mean, they're a living being, so.
That's true. This is a weird definition of veganism that you're using. But hey,
well, Henry Ford also, he was the first person to openly go vegan. Henry Ford was the father of veganism. Invented.
He invented it.
You know, because I mean, you can eat cars, right?
No.
No. Not
All right,
as
well,
far as I'm concerned.
Not most cars, no. I'm sure there's some out there that are edible.
Well, we're gonna
I want an edible
sideswipe
car.
this. Edible cars. It's you can get them at the store. Anyway, so we're gonna sideswipe that train wreck. Hey, Peter.
Yes.
It's great to have you on.
Thank you. It's great to be here. A little bit
And-
confusing, but it's great to be here.
Now that we've gotten through our fever dream part of the episode, maybe we could ask you a few questions to get the audience to know you a little better.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that though maraschino cherries are highly looked at as the root of all evil, I think that the root of all evil is actually vegetables. Speaking of the root of all evil, I think that the root of Bega needs to be taken down, and we will this podcast, all the proceeds for this podcast are going to go toward the Rutabaga Foundation.
Wouldn't that support them?
What?
Wouldn't that be supporting the Rutabagas? I thought we were trying to take him down.
I got lost. Henry Ford was the assembly line guy, though.
Okay.
But anyways, Peter.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
No,
You
well,
can look that shit.
Well, that's the jury's like you said, the jury's still out on that one. Look it up. You be the judge. It's all up to you, our listeners, who are the most important part of this. And before we learn a little bit more about Peter, Lucas, would you like to tell everybody all the platforms that you can find this podcast on right now?
I would love to, because we are now available on more than just YouTube. And some of you might be listening to us on another platform already, but we are now available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Stitcher, as well as YouTube. So listen to us on your favorite platform. We are available on those 4, which is pretty exciting.
Wonderful. Yeah, we are truly thankful, and we would like to shout out to those listeners who are outside of YouTube, because you're in a good spot right now. You're away from YouTube, but you're also listening to this podcast.
Yeah, and an even bigger shout out to Germany.
Oh,
yeah. We have access to our statistics through our host site, Anchor, and we see that 2% of our listeners are coming from Germany, which is one person. So whoever that is, thank you very much for giving us a listen. Yeah, it's great. I'm glad that we're able to branch out and get an audience that is worldwide.
I think I might know who that is, actually. I mean, this
Really?
is if they. Okay, I don't want to discredit any genuine German viewers that may be out there, because you are the lifeblood of this podcast. Please keep on listening. We would love to be the next David Hasselhoff of podcasts. But I want to say that there is a listener that I know of that I'm friends with who is from Belgium, and I have a feeling that they might be considering him from Germany. I don't know though. I don't know. I'm just saying that maybe.
I don't know. It seems like they get pretty detailed, and you can click on it and see the town or the city from Germany, and it's Hesse. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but Hesse is where the listener was listening from. So,
And would you be able to get the address as well, just so we can send them gifts?
no, but if they are listening to this, I will say please send us an email at flamingmelonpod@gmail.com, and we will send you a gift. That is a sincere statement. If you send us an email, we are going to send you something. It might be something dumb, but hey, a little gift from the Watermelon Boys. So
Doesn't matter.
Just for that one listener, or for everybody listening?
No, just the Germany guy, because it's edgy.
You
It's
guys are gonna
different.
get flooded with German email addresses soon. It's gonna be hilarious.
That's right.
We're gonna send them all gifts.
To all of our friends in Germany, we just want to say, any of you, maybe spread the word. Maybe this
order bride, you accidentally get engaged.
Well, maybe this can be our way of going viral in Germany. Any German who wants to email us at flamingmelonpod@gmail.com.
Is it Flaming Melon Pod or is it the Flaming Melon Pod? Now I don't even know our email.
I gave you the wrong email at first, I think. So I don't know.
No, it's Flaming Melon Pod. I just looked. We're good. We're good.
Well, so to our German listeners, this is like a flash offer. If you want to email us your address and maybe say a little bit about yourself, that way we know the kind of gift to give you. We want to tailor this to every person. So if you email us, give us your address, and can somehow prove that you're from Germany. It should be pretty easy if you are from Germany. If you're having a hard time, well, you're probably a fucking liar. So
yeah,
we want
no imposters.
We'll give you a mystery box worth up to where do we want to say? How much do you think this could be up to?
Up to?
Yeah.
We could say anything because it's very vague. We could say we could give you a mystery box worth up to $1 million, but never actually, So I'm gonna keep it reasonable. I'm gonna keep it honest. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna say up to $10 because we don't have enough sponsors yet, but we're getting there. We got a new one today, so we'll look forward to that.
Well, I mean, with the new sponsor we have, we might be able to do like a $10,000, maybe up to $100,000 mystery box for you. But anyways, if you guys are listening from any country that's not the U.S., feel free to email us at flamingmelonpod@gmail.com. Or if you're in the U.S.,
fuck
email
our
us
U.S.
too.
audience.
Everybody just email us. If you're from Germany, you might get something for free. That's all we're saying. That's all.
Also, shout out to Virginia because of our listeners from the U.S. 84% of you are coming from Virginia, so shout out to them. Close second is Michigan, the homeland. In third place is California, and the other 47 states have not listened to us yet, so you're missing out. And we hope to see you join the party and catch up to Virginia. That's all I have to say there. But thank you, Virginia.
But you'll never be as good as Virginia, Ohio. So just don't even back off.
Yeah, Ohio, you can do whatever you want. But the other 46 states that aren't listening, give us a try. Might be surprised.
Yeah. Maybe some free stuff for Virginia too. Maybe it's Virginia, Germany.
Just send us an email and ask us for free stuff, and we might give it to you. I don't really care where you are.
Yeah, really, we're just trying to give back to the people with this podcast, and that's why we're especially grateful to have Peter Hofstra with us. A very magical, giving person to the magic community. He's an underground superstar, as I would like to say. He's got some special things that he's got kept to himself, that he's holding to his chest tight.
For sure. Maybe we ask Peter a few questions here and get him more in the eyes of our listeners, I suppose. So, Peter, how long have you been doing magic, and what kind of got you started?
I've been doing magic 20 years.
Wow.
I was 5 when my grandpa gave me a magic kit, and he got me into it by pulling a Walking Liberty $50 from out behind my ear and then making it vanish and then reappear behind my ear.
Nice.
So, uh, yeah, it was my first introduction to magic, and I kind of decided right then and there that this was something I had to figure out and had to do for the rest of my life. So,
So then, what would you how would
Nice.
you describe the
very cliche story.
how would you describe your magic to the average person to make yourself stand out from just the average magician? How would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as a close-up uh, coin magician. For the most part, like to call myself a sleight of hand artist, which is a little bit pretentious, but um, yeah, I have a focus on coin magic, and I like to do a lot of pack small, play big material. But
And
I don't know how else to really answer.
so you're a sleight of hand artist who does highly visual magic.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Patrick.
And so, who maybe give us a magician or two that inspired you early on to continue, and maybe give us a few names of some of your favorite guys now, because Patrick and I did that in our first episode, and that kind of gives us a further idea of kind of the style that you enjoy and what has inspired your style.
I got you. I mean, early on, I would say, one of the big inspirations is actually who we're going to be discussing later. When I was really young, and so Dynamo, and I mean, obviously later on, it was like people like David Blaine, and then even later on, people like Garrett Thomas was a huge inspiration for me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely huge inspiration for me.
Yep.
But I mean, besides that, Caleb Morelli um, is always a huge inspiration, even with what he's doing on his Nothing experiment site and stuff nowadays. Like, always love his stuff. Um, but yeah, just
So
the really in your face visual kind of like have to accept it. I don't like to put a whole lot of unnecessary patter with my magic. I like it to be like, I like to give the audience the ability to lie to themselves instead of having to me do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
the word undeniable is a good way to describe the magic that you aim to put out,
I appreciate that.
because you
Yeah,
can't
Just like you can't deny what you saw, you just saw it, you just experienced it. Yeah, that's kind of what I aim to do with all of my magic, is just give you something undeniable in your face. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Patrick, I
and
can't remember if we mentioned him on our first pod, but I was just gonna say we all met Garrett Thomas around the same time in
Mm,
our lives, and yeah, that was a good name to bring up because it is undeniable the
the
factors
amount of
that he
influence he's
played.
had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I can look back on like definitive moments where my magic changed for the better. And one of those moments is definitely like meeting him and learning from him in Colon
Oh
a
yeah.
couple of the times that he was there. And I'm sure you can both say the same. So
Oh yeah.
it's a good name. For those who don't know who Garrett Thomas is, definitely give him a search. He's got a great Fool Us clip on his YouTube channel. That's really great. His famous ring routine that he fooled Penn and Teller with. He's also got some other fun stuff on his channel. So give him a look. He's one of the best sleight of hand guys in the world.
he consulted for David Blaine as well, who we've already talked about on this
Mm-hmm.
podcast.
Yeah, created a lot of the tricks that you see David do. The 3-card Monty that I do is created by him and that Peter does. And that's the one trick I always carry with me in my wallet is his 3-card Monty.
Yeah, great trick. I have another question for Peter regarding magic. This one might be harder to answer because it taps into a way back when memory, but here it goes anyways. What's your first experience seeing magic in person from a performing magician?
From, like a professional performing?
Yeah, like a show that you like. Yeah, something that's not casual. Like, what's your first experience seeing magic in person?
Besides besides the story from earlier with my grandpa pulling the coin out from behind my ear, then him like later on showing me a couple of things. He had one of those stacks of nickels and little brass tube things, you know. So he did that for me, and poorly once. The second or third time I asked him to see how it was, to see it again. So then I ended up figuring it out, and that was my first glimpse into magic and how it really worked. I would say, but then after that, my parents, really knew that I wanted to get into it, so they took me to Colon, Michigan, and the first person I ever saw do magic was Rick from
Oh, really?
yeah, it was Rick because from is that Fab or is that it's Fab Magic, right?
Fab Magic.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but it was when it was across the street from where it is now.
Okay, it wasn't next to Sterlini's?
It wasn't next to Sterlini's originally. It was across the street at a different in one of the other buildings, and then they switched across to right next to Sterlini's. But but when I was really young, my dad took me in there, and they did the illusion where he put my dad into this like contraption box thing with his arms spread out, and he stuck his hand straight through my dad's chest.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of the only like big illusions or whatever that were in there at the time. But I remember seeing that and just like absolutely freaking out and like asking my dad, "Did you feel how he did it?" And like him feeling like just saying, "Oh, that felt weird." I think he was doing it just to like give me the experience, but it was great. It was great.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know that one of your first memories was with Rick from Fab. That's cool.
Shout out to Rick.
A little background. I'll just say a little background on Colon for our listeners that don't know. Colon is a town in Michigan that is titled the Magic Capital of the World. And the reason that they got that title is because there's a magic shop there, world famous magic shop by the name of Abbott's, who at one point during their heyday was kind of a big center for stage illusions, and a lot of the big guys in stage magic got all their props and stuff built from Abbott's, and they don't do quite as large of a scale of distribution that they once did, but it's still a great magic shop. They host magic festivals every year, and then there's also Fab Magic and Sterlini's, two other shops in Colon that are also really great.
And here's a little segue from that. So Peter and I have actually performed in Abbott's on the stage in there. They have a little stage in behind some of the cases where they store the magic. And Peter and I have an act called Slightly Mental. And we got to perform there, and that was a really big treat. Peter, how did that feel for you too? When I just remember feeling really, really weird because I had just gone in there so many years throughout my life, and then to be able to perform on the stage in there, it was
I will say it was very very fun being able to perform on the stage in there. Seeing as it's got such history there, like you were saying, like going in there for years and knowing the history behind it, and then on top of that, just like all of the ridiculous posters and stuff from magicians past that are all plastered all over and like falling off even from the ceiling. Like, it's just such a if any of you that are listening get the chance, you have to go check out Abbott's Magic Shop in Colon, Michigan. It is like historically just one of the best things you can do if you're a magician.
It's
Like,
really cool.
it
Yeah.
is really really cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, bless Craig who still runs the place, right? But
Shout out to Greg.
yeah, shout out to Greg.
And
But
BJ.
and BJ
And BJ.
Malin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it is such a cool spot.
It is. It's very nostalgic. Old, creaky floorboards that you walk
Yeah.
around on, and just classic magic effects all over the walls. And they got a nice little library there. Rick's shop actually has a really good library too. He
Oh,
gets
yeah.
a lot of books. But yeah, it's really fun. It's not as glamorous as some of the nicer shops like Tannins or the Magic Apple and places like that, but just the history behind it is what makes it really fun.
And then another shout out. If any of you are making your way out to Colon, Michigan, you have to stop at Curly's and Curly's for a drink later in the evening, and then
Mhm.
5 Star Pizza.
Yes.
Just because it's the best pizza in Colon, and yeah, you gotta stop in there.
Yep.
Shout out to
They got a
Carl
little
from Five
magic in
Star.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Carl.
They got a little
owner of 5
magic,
Star.
in there as well. That
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
he'll show
Yeah.
you if you ask. But that's all I'll say. Yeah, and so you guys have your show Slightly Mental that you've done. I know more than just at Colon. Peter and I actually did one show together. I think would have been senior year of high school. We did this, but we were
2015,
2
yep.
liter. Yeah, 2015. And our title was 2 liter, and we did a little 15-minute bit. Do you remember that name? That's a good
Yeah, I
name.
remember. That was a good name.
You know, Lucas and Peter, leader.
2 liter.
2 liter. That's pretty good. And we did, this was a stage show that Trino Chincarol put on. He's another magician from our area in Michigan. He's from Pawpaw. And
Yeah.
he put on this big stage show, and Peter and I did a duo act kind of in the middle of the show for 15 minutes.
That was a great act. And
It was
I gotta
awesome.
say, you totally just completely reminded me of that name. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
have never remembered that name for the life of me.
That was great.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad you had
That was
you had
actually
that.
that was actually really fun. I'm going to tell a little story about that. First of all, our costume choice was really good because you wore a black suit, white shirt. I wore a black shirt, white suit. That was pretty sweet. We did, what did we do? We did a Cards Across routine from Helder. And then we did Fizzmaster, which is a great, I can't remember. I don't think it's Wayne Houchins, but that's who I learned it from.
It's Paul Harris.
That's right. And then we did a Wayne Houchin effect.
Helium.
I don't know. Is that what it's called? Okay, I was gonna say that, but I couldn't remember the name. And this is a great effect where we have a balloon full of helium and we bring it on stage, and I forget exactly how it goes. We brought someone up on stage, right, and had them hold their breath, and the balloon kind of goes down slightly, and then they release their breath, and it floats back up, and then you get the entire audience to hold their breath, and it goes all the way down to like the ground, and then they release their breath, and it goes almost all the way up, and then we say who's still holding their breath, and it pops up a little more. It's a great routine.
Mhm.
But the way that it works is kind of finicky, and it's tricky. It's not the easiest trick to do.
That was definitely one of the best effects and one of the best times performing it I think I've ever had.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. But it's difficult to do, and the gimmick to set it up properly is difficult, and to have it work every time is difficult. And I think, what did we have? We had like 3 or 4 set up to the side, right? Because you want to have backups for this, because if something breaks during it, it's just not going to work at all. You're going to have a balloon sitting up there that isn't floating anywhere that you want it to. And we had a couple different colored balloons at the ready, just to be safe. And you were the one who walked off stage to grab the balloon. And I think our last resort, I think like the 4th one, was a purple balloon in case the other 3 weren't working. Because I know you were giving them like a brief test before you came back out on stage, as I was kind of getting an audience member up. And and you come back on with the purple balloon, and it's like, oh shit, we're already down to our last reserve here.
Well, I remember, man, you're bringing back all these memories. So I remember walking off stage and panicking because the first one just flies to the ceiling. And so the first one, I go to grab it, it just, and I mean, there was no getting it back. So then the second one, I'm pretty sure, like, it was like, the 3rd or the 4th balloon we had prepped that I ended up, like, the backup one that I ended up coming out on stage with. And holy crap, like, because then as I was grabbing the second one, the gimmick broke. And so then I was like, crap, you know what I mean? And so then I grabbed like the 3rd one, and then like you're almost done with the patter, so I'm thinking to myself, I gotta get back out on stage, you know? And so I finally, like, I just grabbed the last one and like walk out and like just trying to pretend that I'm like all ready and set to go, you know what I mean? Still getting as I'm walking out, still getting the gimmick in position and everything, you know what I mean? So like, oh man, but that was still a really fun and good.
It was
good
fun,
trick.
and the trick ended up working out perfectly, and it was sweet. Well, in hindsight, it would have been smart of us to have a trick that wasn't that prepared, that we know we can do 100%. In case that,
but that was our closer, wasn't it?
Wrong. It was our closer. Yeah. If we didn't have anything else ready, if that last balloon didn't work, like, we would have just been done.
That would have been so bad, but that would. I mean, it still worked. It still went off without a hit.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun. I enjoyed doing that show. Yeah, but. Yeah, that's
I feel like that was from high school. I feel like that show was really one of the big shows that made me want to pursue it professionally too.
Yeah,
like just the turnout and the whole experience. That show was a really, really good time.
That was really fun. That was definitely the biggest show I had done up till that point, and the first like big stage thing that I had done, which was new and fun. And then, Patrick, you did your own solo bit. I'm just going to mention this briefly. You did some mentalism comedy in there, which was definitely my favorite part of the show, because Peter and I got to go up in the nosebleeds of the theater after our performance, and you were on after us and watch your performance, which was just fucking awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a lot of getting heckled by children, but I opened myself up to it.
That seems to be your MO, though. Children like to heckle you for some reason.
Well, I just try to avoid...
We can share that story if you want, or should we save that for another podcast?
Are you talking about the Boy Scouts?
Yes.
Well, I feel like now you have to mention. I'll let you describe it from your point of view.
Oh gosh. So
you can summarize
Patrick got hyped. I summarized the story. Yeah, we'll share the full one on another. But to summarize the story, me and Patrick got hired for a Boy Scouts event, and
it's called a blue and gold ceremony. It's one of their most important nights.
One of their most important nights, and it was. I'm pretty sure like there was only one boy there that was actually like going through the graduation or whatever the heck was going on, because the rest of them were all so freaking young. It was insane.
Well, I think it's something that happens with young scouts.
Okay.
Regardless.
Well, either way, we did not quite understand what we were getting ourselves into as far as I was concerned. And so we get there, and the audience was much younger than the material we had prepared. And so it ended up turning into us half the time begging the parents to participate in some of the tricks because we wanted it to not go over somebody's head. And then the rest of the time it was me and the kids versus Patrick, absolute war.
I
And
became the
that
bad
is
guy.
like Patrick became the bad guy, I was the good guy, and then it became some sort of like magic off or something. But all I remember is that there was this one kid that would not stop giving you just so much crap. And yeah, no, like they were heckling you so bad.
But you know what? I feel like that shaped me into the person I am today in some way or another, for good or for worse.
Well, Peter, thank you for answering those questions. Hopefully, our audience knows you a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the core magic group from Michigan here, from the Kalamazoo area, is us three. I mean, I'm not saying that we're the only magicians in that area, but in terms of in terms of this podcast, this is our group right here. So yeah, briefly before
we've both known Peter.
Go ahead.
We've both known Peter for about a decade.
Yeah, more
Maybe
than
a
that,
little
I would
longer.
say, right? I can't even remember like when we first met, to be honest. I'm really bad at remembering that kind of stuff.
Peter was probably like
I
14.
was
Okay.
14 or 15.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because oh yeah, no, was just turning 15 that year. So
Yeah.
because I was like 14 or so when I started dating that chick, and she's who introduced me to
right.
Lucas.
That's right.
So
That's right.
and then shortly after, then through Lucas, Patrick.
Right.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, so that would have
insane.
been, I think that was probably
10 years ago.
freshman year of high school. So yeah, about 10 years. Yep.
Crazy.
It's wild. So here's a little nugget for you guys.
Ooh.
Last night I was watching a movie. I was watching Don't Look Up on Netflix, and I kept hearing these fucking crickets, because we have these crickets down here, like outside of our house. They're just annoying because they're loud, and occasionally we get one in the house, and depending on where it's located in the house, it can be extremely frustrating. Like there's been one in my closet before that's just drives me bonkers, and I have to try to find it and get it out. And last night there's a closet like right on the other side of the wall to my room, and I was in here watching a movie, and I kept hearing this fucking cricket in the closet, and I kept like going out of my room and looking in the closet and trying to find it, and it would stop, and I couldn't find it, and I would go back, start chirping again, I'd go back, and I finally found the cricket, and I went back, and I kept hearing like noises from the closet, so I went back in there, and when I turned the light on, I saw this very large looking cricket like scurry under an ironing board, and I was like, that almost looked like a cockroach. It was so big. And so I took everything out of the closet, because it was just bugging the shit out of me, these noises. And so I got everything out of there, and I took the ironing board out, and kind of like under the tarp on the bottom side of the ironing board, I like kind of look down, and I see what I think to be a cricket. So I like kind of shove my hand under there to like scuff it out, because I just throw them outside. I don't want to kill them. So I put my hand under there to like nudge it out, and it just goes like zipping underneath the ironing board. I was like, what the hell is this? So I shine my flashlight on it, and it's just this massive cockroach.
Oh.
It was like, oh
no.
Dude, you got me like squirming in my seat right now. You have no idea.
Which
I can't stand those things.
They're pretty they're pretty crazy. If you've never seen one in person, I saw one for the first time last summer, at a friend's house in New Jersey, and it was in their bathroom, and I had to kill it. And so this is the second one I've ever seen in person, and they are fast and
They are fast.
pretty witty. They're good at hiding.
Oh, yeah.
He hid
Oh,
from me
yeah.
multiple times as I was digging through that closet, but I was able to flush him out with a little spray bottle of I think it was like tire cleaner is what I found. So it's just I was just
You killed him with tire cleaner?
no, I didn't kill him with that, but I got him out of the ironing board with that because that's all I could find, and so I was just
Oh my gosh.
spraying tire cleaner on the ironing board and underneath it to get him out. And I got him out and threw him in the trash. Yeah, so that was fun. That was a good time. That was my excitement for the week.
You got a cockroach high on tire cleaner, and then you threw him in the trash.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably having a great time. He's probably high as balls and a bunch of food. So hey,
Hey.
we get a win-win. He's out of my house, and he's having a good time too. So
There you
Don't
go.
we all want to be just like that cockroach?
sometimes.
High and full of food? Generally, I'd
Yeah.
say people do, but
No, I'm saying high on tire cleaner and in somebody
Specifically
else's
tire
trash.
cleaner.
oh, high
And
on
in-
tire
specifically
cleaner
in a
and in a
trash
trash can? Yeah, no, I don't think everybody else relates there, bud.
Yeah, I think so.
Our German
Oh, okay.
listeners maybe gets us.
Now he's just roasting the German listener.
Send
No,
us
I
an email
just-
if you want some tire cleaner. We'll send it out.
I just
the
don't-
remainder of the can.
Oh man.
I was
Get,
not
like,
trying to say anything offensive with
Arrested
that.
for trying
let
to
me say.
ship some sort of fluid
Oh
to
fuck.
Germany.
I'm sorry to our listeners from Germany. That was not something intended to hurt anybody. In fact, I'm here to spread joy to everybody. So I'm gonna stop right there so I don't say anything else.
All right. Well, should we get into our ad read here, and then we can talk about Dynamo?
Yeah, Lucas, I think you're going to be excited for this one because this one's been on your radar specifically for a long time.
Okay.
I remember the first time you brought this up to me, I thought this was one of the best. I'm surprised it wasn't on Shark Tank, but I was very happy to be a part of promoting this company.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm excited to get into it. So here we go. Let's see what we got this week. Pull it up here. Okay.
Shout out to Germany, though. I mean, they're
Have
really
you ever
holding
met
this
a-
podcast together.
Have you ever met a guy named Kevin who was just unlikable? We all have. In fact, one day I realized I was turning into a person who I just could not stand. That's right. My name used to be Kevin. People always hated me, but now my name is Lucas, and everyone loves me. It all comes down to the elimination of the name Kevin. You see, everyone who has this name tends to have all of these qualities. Terrible. Number 1, terrible. Number 2, unlikable. Number 5, just awful. 7, truly horrendous. 8, someone you want to destroy. 31, disappointing in the most offensive way. But don't worry, we have developed a solution. The Kevin Dissolver. This is a proprietary chemical mixture made from goose diarrhea. It will automatically rename the former Kevin to something more cool, like Dash or Demetrius. It will illegally change their name and also act as a hard reset for the personality of the former Kevin. They are now a new being ready to be influenced and molded into your perfect friend. Get your Kevin dissolved today with the Kevin Dissolver. Just go to just go to www.cash4gold, that is the number 4, CASH4GOLD .uk/4206969696969// bitch I will kill you and your family __ free Albert Einstein Big Chungus 30 and and use your code Flaming Melon Kevin for 20% off your next order. And again, that was www.cash4gold, the number 4.uk/4206969696969/ bitch I will kill you and your family __ free Albert Einstein Big Chungus 35. And coupon code Flaming Melon Kevin for 20% off. Yeah, happy to have them on board for sure, because I fucking hate people named Kevin. No doubt. I'm sure you guys feel the same.
I'm really surprised you guys got that sponsor. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Moving up in the world.
Right.
That's a nice podcast.
And we're just
In
eliminating
such a-
people that don't belong.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And what a easy to access website they have. Very friendly people.
Yeah.
20% off your next order. And
it's the best.
in case you missed Lucas saying it, it's www.cash, that's CASH, the number 4, not in the words, but just the you get what I mean? So it's the number 4. Yeah.
Yes.
Cash4 gold GOLD.UK. That's the United Kingdom, but you don't have to type that in. It's just UK /
I'm typing this in right now.
4206969696969 / bitch I will kill you and your family __ free Albert Einstein Big Chungus 30.
Yeah.
Could you repeat that one more time? I only got www.
Yeah. One more.
No, just kidding.
One more time.
Kidding.
Well, no, we should say it one more time.
Well, it's a
just for
good point.
The people at home, that is www.cash4gold.uk /4206969696969/ bitch I will kill you and your family __ free Albert Einstein Big Chungus 35.
I almost got the whole thing. I think it came up with this site cannot be reached.
Okay, well you missed a letter in there somewhere, but that's okay.
I probably missed the W.
We'll repeat it at the end of the episode as well, but we're happy to have them on board. We're happy to get rid of people named Kevin.
Yeah. That's Peter, have you ever we like to try to relate to the listeners, hence the products that we pick to support, but have you ever wished to have this Kevin dissolver on your side?
Yes, I used to work for a man named Kevin. And Kevin Christensen. I'm not kidding.
Shout out Kevin.
If he's ever listening to this, I'm sorry for this. But that could have been a useful product at some point.
So I actually know a Kevin really well too, who was in the same cohort as I in college. We were both in the professional golf management program. His name's Kevin Aguayo. He's actually a really great person, a fantastic golfer, but also fuck you, dude. Change your name. Change your fucking name, Kevin. Kevin Aguayo, if you're listening to this, change your fucking name right now. Other than that, you're the fucking man. So if your name was like Daryl or I don't know, something like that, I would like you way more. Or like there you have it.
Dash or Jeremetrius,
just anything other than Kevin. You could change it to Bevan. I don't care. That's better.
Yeah, or Evan.
Bevan is the better Kevin.
Exactly. There you go. See? Simple. Change your name to Bevan. Bevan Aguayo. That rolls off the tongue so much easier.
Yeah, maybe the last name could use a change too, but we'll get that in a different sponsorship.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, speaking of names, the entertainment review is another big name in Magic this week, and actually a pretty cool name. I'm of course talking about Dynamo. Dynamo. We are going to review his first TV special, which I believe, when did this come out? 2011, I think. Does that sound right? That sounds right.
Somewhere around there.
I think so.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Of course, his real name is what? Stephen Frey, I believe.
Frayne.
Frayne. Stephen Frayne. So yeah, this is he's an interesting guy because he's kind of like the UK version of David Blaine, but sometimes you get some sprinkles of Chris Angel in there and some other magicians as well. So he's an interesting dynamic. And I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about here. So let's get into the episode a little bit. So he opens with this bottle effect where the effect is he takes an empty bottle that he supposedly borrows from someone off the street and proceeds to blow into it until the bottom pops off and the bottle breaks. Yeah. It's a glass bottle. I should clarify. Which is I think it's a really great trick.
I do too.
But it's presented in an odd way. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But
it's not presented as a magic trick to the dude. And that's what I honestly loved about it.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that part. The thing that kind of weirds me out and kind of, I think, makes it obvious for attentive viewers is if you are going to make it seem like you are borrowing the bottle from a person, I don't understand why you would have them blow into the bottle. Because if it truly is not your bottle, they probably know that it's an ordinary bottle if they bought it. So that part was a little strange to me. But the trick itself it's great. And I don't know how it works.
I mean, I don't know if it was just his justification, because again, I have actually no idea how that trick in specific works.
Right.
So for me, it kind of just felt like a justification of him having the person blow into their own bottle to just kind of be like, look what you can't, like, look what I can do that you probably couldn't, and they didn't understand why they were blowing it into it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't exactly the same way as he did anyhow. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, I do kind of get what you mean, but, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's clearly impossible for that to happen to begin with. So that just makes me very suspicious of the bottle coming from the perspective of not only a magician, but a magician who also doesn't know how the effect works. So it could be a layman who's very attentive as well, could have similar feelings. And some of the tricks that we're going to get throughout the episode kind of have that weird dynamic as well, that in the fact that they're real tricks, but the setting and how he's doing them are sometimes questionable. Not all of them. And he is unlike, I don't want to compare him to Chris Angel at all because he's eons above Chris Angel in terms of skill level and like the quality of his TV show. I mean, he won BAFTAs for this TV show, which is a pretty heavy award in the entertainment industry. So he certainly does some great stuff and is very skilled at sleight of hand, close-up magic, stage magic. He's good. But Patrick, do you have any thoughts on this opening effect?
Honestly, no. I appreciate the effect. It did seem a little bit odd to open the special with it, but I guess a lot of these effects, like you mentioned, are a little unconventional. So following this effect, I know there's another effect that utilizes a tan line.
Yeah, so
One of his most iconic tricks, I feel like.
right. The tan line trick. So in this effect, he is on a beach somewhere and he takes this lady's watch off. Not he doesn't steal it, but he asks her to take her watch off, and she has a tan line from her watch. And he proceeds to grab the tan line with his hand and kind of slides his hand all the way up her arm, like up underneath her sleeve, and is able to move the tan line up her arm. How do you guys feel about this effect?
I feel like it was one of his uh, effects where that either had like I feel like that was definitely a TV trick and one of the few in there
Sure.
Right.
because that would have been a hard one to pull off, I feel like, on an actual person.
Right.
Because you would have to do the setup on the person.
Hmm. So, I mean, I've known some crazy magicians to do some maybe even crazier things and in preparation for a show or for an effect. But I feel like that one required some
Mm.
stooging.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see some other effects from him and from other street performing magicians and other specials that kind of um, fall into this category. But I think when a trick is so straightforward that you can only think of one explanation of how it's done, that's
Right,
probably how it's done. And
right,
sometimes the only explanation for something is that it is a TV trick. And I think this pretty clearly would fall under that. And I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong because there are simple tricks that don't fall under that category and they end up being some really great tricks. But I think most of the time, if it's that straightforward to where there's only one explanation, that's probably how it's done. And I don't see how this trick is real. Could be done in person, anyways. So,
Yeah, I
So here's
believe.
a question, playing off of that concept, real quick, if you guys don't mind me derailing the
sure.
show for a
Yeah.
second. If it's a question to pose for the both of you, because I know how I feel about this, but what is your viewpoint on um, stooging in general, but then also stooging for TV or for a special or something like that? Do you feel like it gives people um, realistic uh, an unrealistic perception of what magicians should be able to do for you at any given moment?
So I'll answer this first. I think that stooging on television shouldn't be used because it's just too unfair for the people watching, and I think it harms the show itself. But I think in person, I think it's I think it can be used efficiently. But I think it could easily be used too much because of what you can do with it is so unreal. So I think if you are doing it, do it in moderation and you could get some good results out of it. But if your core is relying on stooging, you're a hack.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I think stooging, it's not an area that I think about a lot because I don't really do any of it, to be honest. But I think if the trick is still possible to do in person and on TV with the aid of stooging, like if you there's something called instant stooging where you maybe bring a audience member up on stage and during the time it takes to pull them from the audience and bring them on stage, you can stooge them into doing what you want on stage. And I think that can be a powerful tool, even though it is kind of a little cheater like by the views of some magicians. I think if the effect can still be done in person, that I don't have as much of a problem with doing it on TV. It's when the only way the trick can work is with like the audience being stooges, and it only works on TV. Or if using stooges makes the trick like so insanely crazy and unrealistic towards magic that you would see in person, I think that's when it becomes a problem. Because stooging is a powerful tool, and even pre-show work, where you can create what's called a dual reality for people, because then it's kind of like stooging, but they still get a good experience too. So it's a weird topic, but in general, I don't like to see it for sure.
I feel the same. I feel like instant stooging is definitely a powerful tool, but I feel like it needs to play more so to the dual reality side of things, where they might not understand that they are stooged in the
Right.
moment
Right.
and still get to an effect of some sort.
Yeah.
That is okay in my opinion.
Yeah,
But,
if you're making a YouTube video and you go up to someone and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you the 10 of diamonds. Can you put it in your pocket?" And then I'm going to ask you to name a card and just say the 10 of diamonds. Like that's when it's like, okay, this isn't even magic.
Clearly.
Like this is stupid.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So
And for our listeners at home, further clarification on dual reality. Dual reality is when the person who participates on stage, so the person taken from the audience, is experiencing the effect differently than to the people in the audience.
right, they
the
experience
audience
it
doesn't
differently,
know.
but it's happening at the same time,
Right.
which is it's complicated on how it works, but at a basic
but-
level, that's how it is. Which is not stooging, and that is a genuine way to achieve tricks and a very clever way to achieve some stuff and some really strong stuff. But this is pretty clear that the girl who he moved the tan line with is in on it, and potentially the people there. I don't know that for sure. You could just use the one stooge and still have the people around them be amazed, which is good, better than what we see Chris do. So,
Right.
yeah. But moving on, I just want to say some of the music in this special, I enjoy, because I like a lot of the songs I have on like playlists on my phone. So we get this little clip where he's talking about his background and how he got into magic, and Paradise by Massive Attack is playing, which is one of my favorite songs. So I just wanted to make note of that. That's a great song.
And you can tell that Dynamo is really into music and is really connected in the music industry as well by the people who he surrounds himself with.
Yeah, he definitely performs for a lot of music people, artists, and singers, songwriters.
I think one of the last things I saw by him is something that absolutely blew my mind. I seen him spin a coin and take two cups and go like this, and then the coin still spinning teleported from underneath one cup to the other.
Oh,
I don't remember
And
that.
I it was on his like Facebook or YouTube or something recently, and
Right.
I like, yeah, absolutely blew my
I
mind.
gotta look that up.
So he still got it. It came out in 2011, but Dynamo's still performing, I think,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, he went through the battle with his Crohn's
His-
flaring up, so he was
right.
kind of quiet for a few years. But I think he's back now and healthy. He also had COVID
Good.
during that. But just to clarify, Paradise Circus by Massive Attack. I said Paradise. The song is Paradise Circus. Great song. But now we get a little bit on. I talked about it last episode, Patrick, when we were going over all the Chris Angel levitation, the anti-levitation trick, where you're kind of glued to the ground. And he kind of does a little bit on that. Do you want to talk about that maybe?
Well, I think the name of the trick, it goes back for a long time. It goes back a long time ago when it was used in, I guess early circus, maybe vaudeville type of thing.
Right.
I think it was called the Georgia Wonder or something along those lines. I could be wrong. I remember David Blaine in his autobiography wrote about it, and it's this effect where Dynamo asks somebody to lift them up, and they can, and then they set him back down, and then nothing changes. He asks them to lift him back up, and they can't. It's like he's stuck to the ground. It's like he's 1,000 pounds heavier than he used to be, and he's a small guy too.
Yeah, he might be smaller than me, and I'm a small guy. And this I kind of alluded to it earlier. This is a trick that looks so simple that it seems like there could only be one way of doing it. But this is actually a trick that is real and is a fantastic trick, and one that I have performed many times. And it is one of those rare instances where it's such a simple looking trick, yet it's hard to
It feels
figure
so
out.
impossible
Right.
as the person that's participating.
Yes, and
And
it'd
I
be easy
remember-
to look at that on TV and say that that's also using stooges, but that one actually is not.
One of the problems, because I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, I have no idea how he did that. And then, like, I remember you actually taught me the explanation of the effect years
Right.
later. And in high school, I would want to perform this, but I was taller than most. And so I couldn't actually perform the effect because I couldn't find very many people that could lift me up.
Right.
And so I remember that always being a problem, but loving the effect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you do need to be a pretty small person to have it work. At least
Well, it's
to
one
a
of those-
wide variety of people, you need to be a small guy.
well, you need to have somebody bigger than you too to be able to
Yeah.
lift you up in
Yeah.
the first place.
Exactly.
So like being small just makes it easier.
yeah, it makes it easier to find people. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where the method is hiding right in front of you. Like you're seeing the trick as it actually is,
Yeah.
Right.
which is beautiful.
Rare.
Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
cool. Yeah, it's one of those rare. Just you can do it anytime, anywhere, and there's nothing to it really. You just all of a sudden you're like cemented to the ground, and as hard as they try, they can't lift you up. It's awesome. But he claims, Dynamo claims that his grandpa taught him this to help prevent bullying because he was bullied as a kid. So I don't know how much that would come into play if you're being bullied, but I don't know.
I like the sentiment.
I mean,
I think it's
I
not
like the
true.
sentiment. I think it was.
Yeah,
like,
I believe that his grandpa could have taught him that, but I don't see how this would play a factor. And like as a bully, if you're going to get physical, it seems like picking someone up would be less effective than just punching them. And
Right.
if you can't pick him up, I'm sure the next thing you're going to do is punch him anyway. So,
punch him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
No,
What I
no,
think-
no. See, his bullies only ever picked him up and put him in trash cans. In school. That's what happened.
there you go, like the cockroach. They sprayed him
Yeah,
with tire
little-
cleaner and put him in a trash
They
can.
sprayed him in tire.
And now they can only spray him with tire cleaner. They can't put him in the trash.
Oh no!
What were you
he
going to
was-
say, Patrick?
I think it was one of those things where he was taking, because it seems somewhat authentic, so I think he was taking some bits of truth from him actually getting bullied, and maybe his grandpa actually sharing with him some advice.
Sure.
But then he wanted to take a life experience and try to attach a magic
Yeah.
meaning to it.
Yeah, definitely. Which is fine. Yeah, so moving on now we actually get this little bit in there where he's kind of talking about how many views he's getting online, which I found kind of strange to put in there. Just a little ego stroke in the middle. I don't know. I found it very out of place in terms of what we've seen so far.
I thought that it was a little bit weird too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It was definitely an ego stroke.
Yeah, I didn't really have any place for that. Like that's pretty. It's not a memorable thing to put in a Magic special. You know, people want to see Magic. No one really cares how many views you're getting.
Yeah.
But now we get into an effect where
Maybe
he's
it was a
with.
shameless plug.
It could be. We get into an effect where he's with Tinny Tempa, and he does a trick with one of his album covers. Maybe one of you wants to describe what that trick is, and then I can get a little further background.
Yeah, Peter,
on it.
go ahead. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
So in that trick, he was with the artist and he had him pull his sunglasses up, and then the cover of that guy's album actually has him in his sunglasses. So he drags the sunglasses up onto the forehead of the artist in the album cover, and so he in the moment created a one of a kind album cover just for the artist. And I thought that was a very, very cool effect.
Mhm.
Definitely something that could be performed. It was definitely not TV magic by any means, but definitely something specifically produced for TV for that particular person,
Mhm.
but a good effect nonetheless. Like, I thought the reactions were probably looked pretty dang genuine for sure.
Yeah, no, it was definitely done for real. It's from Tinny Tempa's Discovery album. I think Written in the Stars is one of the more famous songs from that album, and the cover of it is him wearing sunglasses. And so they go into this room, and Tinny is also wearing sunglasses. And this is a trick by Paul Harris, my favorite magician. I think it's called UV Nightshades, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But this trick is originally done on a dollar bill, and there's actually a couple methods for it. But you would either borrow a bill and draw sunglasses on George Washington's face, or you would already have one, and you put your thumb over the sunglasses and like drag them up onto his forehead, which is essentially what he did on the album cover. And it's a really great trick. I've performed it before, and it's I love it. It's cool to see some Paul Harris in there because he makes great close-up magic. So yeah, good trick.
Yeah. Great trick. One of my favorites on the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, one of the better ones there. And it's like that's the type of TV magic that I love, because with TV magic, obviously you have the ability to prepare whatever you want for the cameras, but in this trick he's doing that in an honest way. So he's able to prepare a specific version of this trick for a performance that he knows he's going to do, and still have it be genuine for everyone in the room and for the TV cameras, because you could also do this in real life as well, which is great. That's my favorite type of TV magic right there.
So I feel like sorry, I was derailing for a second, but a couple of the other effects that he performs throughout the series, and I don't know if you guys are planning on mentioning, that stood out to me was just some of the effects by Kalen Morelli that he was performing.
Yeah. Well, we get one up
And
next, actually, by Kayla.
is that what you? Okay, which one were you referring to?
Well, next we get a dress code, which he actually does
Dress code.
twice in the episode. But yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually the one I was about to mention, was the dress code one. I was very surprised to remember that was being performed all the way back then in 2011, and I
Been
didn't
around a
realize
while.
that Kalen had put it out at that point. He might not have.
Well, I
You know
think
what I mean?
that, or it was a very, very fresh, but he might have I think a
it
lot
might
of
not have been
these,
out yet.
yeah.
I feel like that wasn't actually out yet by Kalen before Dynamo was performing it on his special, which mean it just, to me, mad props to Kalen for, you know what I mean, like being so connected.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless
Kalen's
it was
also
stolen. You know what I mean?
Kalen also has consulted for people like David Copperfield. He's been doing great things from a young age, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
He's a
David
young guy
Blaine.
too.
Yep. Yeah. So he does dress code. Peter, why don't you explain what that is for people who don't know that trick?
So dress code, essentially, you can do it. I shouldn't say anything about the requirements for performing it.
It's
but
like a street
it's an effect.
version of a
It's a
quick
street.
change.
Yeah, it's a street version of a quick change, and you basically just turn around, and the T-shirt that you have on underneath your jacket changes immediately, and into either he did it as a reveal in one case, and then the other case, what was it? It
He was like on a
was it
red
just the
carpet and turned his T-shirt
oh
into
yeah,
a
turned
dress
it
shirt and
into a
tie.
dress shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of
That was
versatility
really
for
good.
it. You can do it.
Hmm.
You can change pretty much anything into anything. And
Yeah.
you can even take your coat off and show that it's just the one shirt that you're wearing, and the coat can be
Hmm.
examined. And
And
it's really
super
clean.
clean.
Yeah,
It's
for
a
sure.
really good effect.
Yeah.
But
Um, yeah. So then we get into he's kind of doing some close up magic here. Patrick, do you have anything on what he does after dress code that you want to talk about? Maybe he does a little
Well,
version of the haunted deck.
I wanted to point out the cards that he used.
Okay.
Black
oh
Tiger.
yeah, oh
What's
yeah,
he
the
using?
Black Tiger deck. He was
Black
using the
Tiger?
Black Tiger
Was he
deck for all of
really?
his cardistry during the entire thing. I still got one right up here on my wall.
I
That was
totally.
like one
How
of the
did I
first
miss? How did I like not
custom
even
decks
make note
ever.
of that?
It
One of the
may
best, one of the first custom decks ever.
it may have been not in the trick itself, but prior to that, he definitely had a cutscene of doing flourishes with the Black Tiger deck.
Okay, I think I do remember that. I was gonna say there's no way he performed magic with them. Like I would have remembered
He-
that.
No.
I didn't. I mean, it's possible that he didn't, but he definitely showcased them.
Okay. I wonder if that was like the time when those were coming out. I think they came out earlier than that because I remember getting them in like middle
Definitely.
school. Which, well,
Oh yeah.
no, that would have been. Yeah, they would have been out a couple of years by then. Yep, there it is.
Peter has a
Good,
deck
good
right
Peter's
here.
holding one right
Yeah.
now. I've got a couple
Yeah,
back
I just
home.
pulled out the old Black Tiger deck.
That's
This is so
that's just
nostalgic.
vintage, like
Oh, yeah.
getting into card collecting right there. That's what you start with.
Oh yeah.
Those were the rage back in the
So
day.
for those of you who don't know Black Tiger deck, imagine like a bicycle, but any white space is now black, even the borders and the
Yeah.
faces as well.
You know how you can turn your iPhone to like dark mode on like Twitter and Instagram
Imagine,
and stuff?
yeah, a
That's
deck of
kind of what it
cards.
is like with a deck of cards. It's you're
That's
turning the deck into dark mode.
I wonder if
They
they
do look
still
pretty
have-
cool.
I wonder if they. I didn't use these very much. I wonder if they still have that smell to them. Hold
Oh,
on.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, the problem with those is there's so much ink on them that they don't last very long. Like as soon as they
No.
get worn in, they get super clumpy
Yeah.
because they're so heavy
That's
with ink.
it's honestly one of the reasons why I never used this
Right.
much.
Yeah, I remember getting a bunch of those because they made multiple decks that were like just black on the front and back, and they just don't
Mhm.
last at all because of how much ink is on them. But they look cool. So.
They look sweet.
But yeah, so now we get into he's doing some close-up magic, and we see a couple different clips of him doing a haunted deck, which a haunted deck is where you set the deck down, and it starts to like cut itself. So half of the deck starts sliding over, and then a card from the center starts to pop out from the deck, and it's their selected card. He does it with a named card or a thought of card. But the great thing about the way that he does it is he puts the deck into other people's hands and does it, which honestly I don't recall seeing anyone else really do, which was a smart way of performing it. So they kind of cup their hands and he sets the deck down and then it starts moving in their hands, which is really cool. I thought that was one of my favorite
I think he was
parts
definitely one of the
episode.
first people to do it in somebody else's
Yeah.
hands for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So then he goes from that, and he does that. He actually does a coin trick. Peter, you probably have some extra thoughts on the coin trick that he did.
I think the first coin trick he did was a raven change. If I don't,
Oh, that's
if
right.
if I'm remembering correctly. And oh man, just again, the classics.
Just
He was,
great.
like, just great. And I mean, still great today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's still just such a great effect. And I mean, he did a couple of he did an effect I remember in the special where he had two coins in somebody's hand, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to come and try and grab them in a second, and I want you to just keep me from grabbing it, right?" And so that was kind of interesting, where he pretends to go ahead and grab the coin, right? And then they choose which one actually disappears out of their hand. And then after that, he has it reappear underneath their watch, which it when you think about it as a magician, you're like, well, pfft, you know what I mean? But uh, for a layman, that effect is super strong.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I appreciated it, and it actually made me want to kind of relook at the coin under watch effect as a total,
For sure.
because it is definitely a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the close-up magic that we see in there is like really strong, simple stuff, which is great for TV because a lot of close-up magic is pretty complex and not always good for TV. But he does some like really simple, easy to follow stuff on TV that grabs your attention. It's very visual, but also super good for the people that are in person, which is awesome.
Another amazing effect that he did with coins during that was his coin bend in glass, and I will say I give him mad props for doing that move on camera, right in plain sight of everybody, and doing it perfectly. Just I loved it.
Really good.
Really, really good. Just one of the cleanest things.
Yeah, Patrick, tell us about that one.
So he bent the coin in the glass. Like, it appears that the coin bends while it's being swirled around in the glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, he goes and he bends the stem of the glass that he used.
Which was a cool 1-2 punch there. That was strong.
But that's not even where it ends. That's not even where it ends, though.
No.
He then takes... Maybe it's with a different wine glass. Or is it with the?
No, it's with a different. It's with a different
wine glass.
He does a borrowed ring on the stem of the wine glass again.
Yeah, that was such a good just set, and I mean the fact that he would have that all set up for those people, like.
Now let me
do the
let
1,
me ask
2,
you guys
3 punch
this.
is crazy.
Yeah.
The first two are awesome. The coin bend in the glass is super great. What a great visual and a great looking bend, and then to bend the stem of the wine glass just fits in perfectly with that. But is the ring on the wine glass like legit? Because that one seems too good to be true to have an examinable borrowed ring.
That is an effect.
Okay.
That is an effect, and there's only a few really old magicians that I've ever actually seen perform it, and I honestly, I've lost the method to time. I have no idea how it's done anymore, but I do remember an old magician showing me that once.
Yeah,
so I know it's real.
It definitely
can be done.
Yeah, it's definitely a trick I've seen, but I've never seen a version where you're able to hand the glass back and have it be examinable. Like that seems too good to be true to me. To have it done on a wine glass with a borrowed ring and have it be examinable seems pretty crazy. So it's a little questionable on that.
Yeah, the being fully examinable part would be my question too, but
yeah, that seems like a stretch without using a duplicate ring and a stooge. But I don't know. It definitely could be real because there are strong effects out there. Like I think of Richard Osterland's linking rings, where he borrows 3 rings from different people and links them together. And I don't think they're examinable, but you can clearly see that they're all linked together, which is pretty incredible. So I don't know. But that was a great set for sure.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the...
Go ahead.
What did you guys think about the phone in bottle?
That's what I was about to ask.
So
I have no clue.
Oh, okay. I have a good idea. So before the phone and bottle, and this kind of gives a key. This kind of gives a key to how the phone and bottle is done. But
Well,
before,
I mean, I know how he was got rid of the phone. That's not what I'm wondering.
right?
Right.
All right. How did, if it was legitimately not stooged,
Yeah,
right? The dude called the phone.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, because I understand how the second phone disappears, and I understand how he made it look like he put it in there,
yes, which is great and super
right?
clean
Which is
and
great,
really good.
super clean,
Yeah, looks like he
really
just
great.
slams it in the bottle. It's awesome.
Slams it in the bottle. It looks
Yeah,
amazing, right?
yeah,
Um, and the second phone disappearing obviously is the hint there, but um, and I don't think that should have been part of the special. I honestly knock him a couple of points for that second phone trick,
I agree. It takes it away.
but it takes away from it. But I honestly have no idea how he, if that guy wasn't stooged, and it didn't seem as though he was, how he got the phone in the bottle
uh-huh. Yeah.
and
Well,
had it
the
ringing.
trick that he does right before that is a trick with a credit card,
Yeah.
where he takes his credit card and supposedly a random person off the street and changes his name to the person's name and then changes the signature on the back and then is able to tell him what his PIN code is, which the trick is being done legitimately, but I don't see a way that you could get that information to do it without using a bit of stooging.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was one of those too good to be true moments where it looks
Yeah.
wonderful on camera,
Yes.
but
Now,
there's no way
You think
that you're
that was
seeing everything.
stooged?
I
You think that was all
would
stooged?
I would think
To an
so.
extent.
Yeah, I think you could definitely do it in person for real, but you would need to get a heavy amount of information beforehand, and it would be very difficult.
See,
Um,
I was kind of hoping that that trick, and that series of tricks for that guy, even with the phone and everything,
yeah,
was one of those things where he did talk to him for like a minute to maybe 5 minutes before the cameras started rolling.
yeah,
And then the cameras just started rolling, and that's where we cut in at.
right.
You know what I mean?
Which
That's
could be
kind
the
of what I was
case.
hoping.
Could be the
It
case.
could be the case, right? But I mean, I like to have a little bit more optimism for Dynamo in that
But
situation.
going into the phone trick, he uses the same
Yeah,
guy that he did the credit card
yeah,
on, which kind of tells
yeah,
you where I'm heading with the phone trick and kind of an idea of how that works. But I
yeah.
think everyone watching it has no idea how it worked, and it's fucking
I'd
great.
say okay. So the question is then, is that okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with that one.
You're okay
Me
with
I'm
that
too.
okay
one?
with that one.
Yeah.
I think that one's fine because I would definitely do that in person too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's he's still doing a trick that is legit, can be done in person. 99% of the audience has no idea how it's done, and it's really good. I'd say it's definitely great. Um,
The
a
bank card
funny
thing, not so much.
the what?
The bank card thing, not so much.
Yeah, that one's interesting. Yeah, that could go a number of ways on how that one works, but the trick itself is still being done legitimately, like the name changing and the signature changing.
Yes.
Like that's not using camera
Yeah.
tricks or anything, but the process of being able to do that trick is questionable for sure. But something funny. So as I was coming up with trivia, I was kind of doing a lot of research on Dynamo, and it was funny. So I'll spoil it now. The finale of this is him doing a walking on water effect, and I was reading all these old articles of when he did that, and he's like walking on water, and that's the headline and the picture of the article, and then it's always so silly with magicians that do this crazy shit, because like he's literally walking on a famous body of water towards the house of that, like the parliament in London. And then also in the article, it says like, also in this special, he puts a phone inside of a bottle. It's like that is nowhere near like
Near.
the scale of walking on water. Literal Jesus level stuff. Like, I am a god. Also, he floats a guitar and puts a phone in a bottle. It's like, who fucking cares? Who cares about that?
He just walked on water.
It's so it's so funny, and he's not the only magician that, like, you know, we see articles like that. But I always think that's just hilarious when I see stuff like that. That's just such a contradiction in like magnitude. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
One of the other fails that I think really shined through for me was when he was doing this mentalism trick where he had some random person. I think the setting was outside of a Trey Songz concert, like outside of the venue or something. So he was asking this person to think of their favorite Trey Songz song. And one of the only songs that I know from him, one of the few songs that I know from him,
is the song that he names.
Yes, because it's like one of his biggest all-time songs. Like, if you look at his songs, this is probably the one that ranks either first or close to the highest. And he guessed the song that the person was thinking of. And this song was also probably very popular during this time. So to me, it just it's a little small thing, but to me, it was just like, wow, you thought of his most popular, like that was probably just done on the street randomly, like.
Probably.
But like it probably was no method whatsoever. He probably just walked up to a random person in there and was just like,
that's what I mean. Yep.
You know,
he just
what
went
I mean?
up.
Like,
yeah.
No method whatsoever.
He does. I think we can probably get close to the end here. I'm just now realizing, and you said it at the beginning, Patrick, how many fucking tricks are in this episode. There's a lot.
There's a ton.
There are so many. But another mentalism effect he does is he takes two people and, to show how connected they are, does an effect where he has them both think of a country and like say it out loud at the same time. And the first couple he does, they both say France, which is great.
I loved it when they got the Barbados.
Yeah, but then it kind of spirals into, it starts to get like a little crazy, like how specific it gets, and like and it makes you question at the end if it was all legit. But yeah, it's a good piece of mentalism either way. And then he does like a little invisible touch in there as well, which is an effect where you have someone close their eyes, you touch another person, and the person with their eyes closed also feels the touch exactly where it is. Kind of a classic mentalist routine.
I will say, I feel like the city thing is again the exact same as the song name. It is probably one of those things where no method whatsoever. He just went to a bunch of groups of two and had them both name.
Yeah. And that is a benefit of doing magic on TV. You can just go around and keep trying stuff that doesn't always hit and get it to hit, which I don't have a problem with that either.
As long as it's to the people that are experiencing it real.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and they're not stooged. That's fine.
Right.
Well, I think that lastly, we should mention the Matrix levitation that he does.
Yeah. We get another levitation. Last week we saw Chris Angel do this levitation, and it is a real levitation. Chris Angel did it in a situation where it's not possible anywhere outside of TV, and I think Dynamo falls into the same category with how he does it here. You want to explain that, Patrick?
Well, yeah, so pretty much Dynamo just leans back, right? He just leans back and then similar to how we talked about with the Chris Angel levitation in the previous episode, he then is able to lift, leaning back at this crazy angle. He's able to lift one leg off the ground then. So he's just on the ground with one knee bent. The rest of his body is just leaned back. Other leg is in the air.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It does look really great. But you look at the two ladies that he's doing it for, two actresses, and it's just very clear that they know how it's being done because they're like not impressed at all.
Right.
They're like not even freaking out a little bit. It's like if I saw someone doing this for me like on the street, I guess they weren't on the street, but at an event, just like
I would have freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how the fuck are you doing this? And they're just kind of like, whoa, like. And it's funny because I remember watching this, like when I was like super into levitations in middle school. I remember watching this and just like, holy shit, I gotta learn this. And I was like doing a bunch of research into like how this levitation works and like the gimmick that you need to do this. And I was like looking into either making one or getting one somehow. And I didn't even pay attention to like how these ladies were reacting. I assumed you could just do it anywhere. But now watching it again, it's like, oh, okay, this is clearly just for the cameras.
Right.
So
interesting.
Okay. That said, that trick is based off of lean shoes, which can be performed anywhere almost.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes. So like the practicality of it being able to perform anywhere, no, but in concept and being able to perform a similar effect, like on at least any stage and or pretty easily set up for a situation such as that, like lean shoes and whatnot have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I totally forgot about lean shoes. Those are I probably prefer that more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You ever seen Michael Jackson lean crazy? That's what you're seeing right there.
Lean shoes.
Yeah.
Yep. I could have probably told this on the last episode since it was about levitation, but when I was super into levitations, like not only of small objects like cards and stuff, but also self-levitations, there was a lot of obviously there's the Balducci levitation, which is impromptu. You can do it anywhere. And it's great. And that's the one I did the most in terms of self-levitation back in the day. But I also looked at a bunch of devices and like tried to get something that was a little more angle proof than the Balducci that maybe could be seen front on. And I ended up buying this thing called Elevator, which is easily the worst magic product that I've ever bought. And I should clarify, I don't think I bought it. I think my mom bought it for me at the time because I was in middle school. But this thing, so I watched like all these products videos, like and read descriptions of products and just tried to go off what sounded the coolest, because that's what you do as a kid magician, is what sounds the best. And oftentimes those are the worst. But this one didn't have a video, and there's a reason for that. But the description just sounded crazy because you could do it front on, like people could be standing in front of you. You could levitate like 3-4 inches off the ground, both feet very clearly off the ground. And it just sounded nuts. And so it was $100. And so I got my mom to buy it for me, either for a birthday gift or just randomly. I don't remember. And it is horrible and just so obvious how it's being done. Like you're not going to fool anyone with
anybody.
No one. It is terrible. And I'm still not going to say how it works just because I don't want this to be like an exposure podcast, but it's fucking terrible. It is so bad. So,
what was the name of the effect again?
Elevator.
Can you remember the name? Elevator?
Yeah. I don't even remember who it's by. I still have it somewhere. It's still probably somewhere I have the DVD that teaches you, and that would be funny to watch again.
I mean, so we're not going to tell you how it's done, right?
I'll fucking say it. It's basically something you just stand on. It's insane.
It's like a heel. It's like an extra heel.
You bought an extra heel.
Yeah, it's this little round like reinforced cup basically that you attach to the back of your belt. It's on a reel. So first, to get it under your shoe, you have to like create an excuse to bend down and put it under there, which I believe the way that they taught it on the DVD is like you start to rub the back of your legs to like warm yourself up, and that gives you an excuse to like get down and put it under your foot, which is already like, what the fuck?
Right.
And then the second problem is now you're standing with a 3.5-inch block under your right heel. So it's pretty clear that your right foot is now lifted. It's hard to make that look natural. And then essentially
transition.
It's not, you can't really do a gradual rise off the ground. All of a sudden you just stand and you're just standing on your right heel on this object. And yeah, I guess from the front it looks like you're standing in midair, but you can't look underneath. And one of the descriptions of the product is that you can take like a hula hoop and pass it under your legs. And so that was another reason why I bought it, because it's like, oh, that's fucking crazy. Like you can do that. And the way it works is you fucking take a hula hoop and pass it under your legs and just bang it out from underneath you. And then you fall to the ground as soon as the hula hoop passes beneath your feet. And it's like, well, that's fucking obvious as hell. As soon as it passes under, I collapse to the ground. That seems like I banged something out from my feet. But of course, It retracts up then back to your belt, and you're wearing a coat, so it kind of hides under your coat. So you can like do a spin and show you have nothing. But it's like you're definitely like, if you're doing it in a close-up setting, which I had hoped to be doing it in, you're going to hear it reel back up there. And like, it just, everything about it was just so bad. I picked the worst possible. I picked the worst possible one to get. Yeah. But yeah, that's my worst magic product purchase. There you go.
Well, wow. Truly, I'm glad that you shared that, because we've brought that up over the years many times, and it's a very it's something you can look back on and think about where you were at when you got that.
I tried to make it work.
It also goes to show. Oh, I was going to say,
ahead.
It also goes to show that in this day and age, you can't get away with as much BS products in the magic industry because, you know, the interconnectivity of people and the internet and whatnot.
I remember trying to make it work for a while because I was like pretty disappointed in it, but I was like, this was expensive. Like I need to try to make it work. Like it can still be cool.
So you tried,
and I
don't
think I ever showed anyone outside of you guys and my mom. And I did it once for my mom, and I was just like, man, this is never going to work. And I was legitimately bummed out for a while, but that's okay. Yeah.
Because you built it up to be,
I thought it was going to be so cool. So cool. And it was so bad. But that's okay.
Well, I have one more note on the Dynamo show, if you just want to put it to bed here.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to do with him walking on water, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Earlier. So I remember he's floating, or he's walking on the water. He goes like a quarter way in, and then
the kayakers,
boat police, like it's like these boat policemen come up to him, and take him out of the water, and then he's just in the boat in the same position. Yeah, he's in the same position that he was when he was walking on water, which is his hands both up and out with his palms spread.
Right.
And he's just laying in the boat in this position as they're taking him away, and then the show ends.
Yes.
And that was such a weird ending to the show, I will say that. I will say, leading up to the police coming and pulling him off of the water, the touch of having two kayakers go right where he was just walking was a good touch.
Yeah, I like that.
For anybody who had been watching at the time, and for the TV special as a total. I thought that was
the trick itself, like it's actually pretty cool because he walked across the River Thames in London, and like everyone that was there, like he really did create this kind of crazy iconic moment for that year, in magic and just pop culture, I guess. And I think that's cool. And like he did it legitimately. Like we're gonna get into Chris Angel at some point walking on water, and it's just in a pool in Vegas, and like everyone there is a stooge, and there's camera tricks involved, and it's terrible. Like this one's at
Right.
least done fairly legitimately, and I don't know how easy.
I think everybody that was watching it probably experienced it just the way
Right.
that
I think
they
a lot of
saw
people
it.
there are just like, holy shit. I'm sure some people there probably knew how he was doing it. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would looking back on it. It is just strange that the police come and grab him off of there. But
And he's in such an awkward position. Yeah.
yeah. So
I liked it because it was they wanted to put in shots that involved more than just him on the water, so you got a lot of expanded shots with the people and just the setting,
mm-hmm.
and I liked that.
Yes. But that
But yeah.
definitely it definitely feeds into like magicians doing all this like crazy otherworldly godlike stuff, and then they also do like card tricks. So it's it's like
Yeah.
it's just it's a strange dynamic. I think at least for me when it comes to like bigger illusions and stuff like that, I still want them to feel like a magic trick, which I haven't always thought this way. But I don't know. It seems kind of silly to do that stuff
be able
now.
to-
Because if you can
Yeah.
walk on water, why the hell would I ever find your card in a shuffled deck?
Right.
Like, that just seems so pointless. So,
Right.
you know.
And I mean, no, but I mean, for that sentiment though, if you can fucking put somebody's phone in a glass bottle or blow the bottom off of a glass bottle, why the fuck are you ever pulling cards out from a deck? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
So-
those you can make coincide more, though. Because
More, but for sure, like I don't know, there are some things where
there are card tricks that are on, I think, a similar level to putting a phone in a glass bottle. Like
Okay.
throwing the card against a window and having it appear on the
oh
other
yeah,
side, which
have
is
it be on
essentially the
other
same
side
trick.
and whatnot.
Yeah. But there's tricks in card magic that I think are comparable. But there's nothing comparable to walking on water.
No.
So, but
What about sponge
I still
bunnies?
like it. Oh, sponge bunnies could be
Sponge bunnies for sure.
maybe
yep.
a good D-light routine is up there for sure.
Love it. Love D-lights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm delighted
They are
about,
the-
Lucas?
What's that?
You beat me to it.
What are you
No,
delighted
I'll let
about?
Peter have that. I'll let Peter go
No,
back.
No. Finish what you were saying there, Patty.
I'm delighted about our trivia that we have.
Trivia.
All right, I gotta hear this.
Let's cue the music.
It's time for some trivia.
So can I steal points away from whoever's participating?
No.
Damn.
No, you just gotta listen. You gotta listen and learn here. You can't steal points. You can't. I wish you could, because it's Patrick's turn. So,
You could
But
feel
no,
free
you-
to guess after I've locked in my answer.
yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't give any hints or anything. So this week's trivia is gonna be Dynamite, and what I mean by that is we're gonna have one Dynamo question and 4 questions about Dynamite. Which seems a little strange. Normally, for the entertainment reviews, when we get someone we haven't done yet, we do the entertainment review on them. But to be honest, doing research on Dynamo wasn't as interesting as the other magicians. It seems like a lot of the information out there just pertains to his specials and his background. Like there wasn't a lot of crazy stuff that I could uncover, like David Blaine and Copperfield and Chris Angel. Like the depth wasn't there. So I have one Dynamo question, and then I have 4 questions about dynamite. So that being said, Patrick, are you ready?
I am ready. But first, would you update us on the point total as well as tell everybody what's at stake?
Yeah, so point totals here, we've done 4 weeks, so we've each been able to do 2 sessions of answering. Patrick's point total is at 8, okay? He has gotten 4 of 10 correct. My point total is at 10. I've gotten 5 out of 10 correct, so I'm currently leading. This is the 5th week of trivia. And just to remind you guys, at stake, after 10 weeks, we will tally up who has the most points. The winner will get to write and script a magic trick that the other has to perform on camera, and you can be sure that it will be bad, embarrassing, silly, humiliating, all of those. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to get very intense towards the end. We've already got a tight battle through 4 weeks, and I'm hoping that you get all these wrong.
Are we going to? How many weeks is this going in total? Do we get it
10.
next week too? 10 weeks.
10 weeks, and then we tally it up. Yeah, exactly. So this is week 5. So essentially, we'll both have the opportunity to answer 25 questions. So 50 points at stake. Whoever has the most points at the end of 10 weeks will be the winner.
And the loser also has to get someone in Germany a mystery box of some type worth up to $100,000. And so it's going to be a random. So all of our random listeners from Germany, we're going to put you in a hat. We're going to take one of you out, and whoever that is, the loser also has to give you a mystery box worth up to $100,000.
Right. But the only way that's going to work, the only way that'll work is if you email us. So send us an email, flamingmelonpod@gmail.com. And we will
I just can't
happen.
wait until like 99% of your entire listener base is from Germany and see.
That's fine with us.
We just turn into like a German giveaway channel.
Yep. Y'all move there or some shit.
All right. Well, here we go. You ready, Patrick?
I am going to beat you to the ground.
All right. Well, we're going to start with our Dynamo question. So here's what I got. In 2013, Dynamo levitated alongside a double-decker bus in London. This was part of a brand sponsorship deal for this illusion. What brand did he partner with? Was it A, Samsung, B, Pepsi, C, Adidas, or D, Mercedes?
It's either Adidas or whatever the first one was.
Samsung.
What was Samsung? It was either Adidas or Samsung. But see, I want to go technology because it's like a crazy stunt that. I mean, technology makes things feel like anything is possible, right? So maybe this stunt was to go with the Samsung. But at the same time, I feel like he would associate himself with like a clothing brand like Adidas as well. I'm going to go with Adidas and lock it in. Peter, so I've locked in my answer. Peter, if you had to guess, what would you pick?
Oh, I was going to go Adidas as well, but I was more so leaning between Adidas and Mercedes. I don't think it was Samsung.
Mercedes,
So.
that's a German car company, right? Or am I wrong?
I think they're German, right? Yeah. German engineering. Is that Mercedes or BMW? Might be BMW.
Well,
I don't know.
I was just trying to figure out a way to call out Germany and say what's up again, but we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So what's the answer, Lucas?
The answer is B,
Adidas.
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
He partnered with Pepsi Max for this stunt, which is very weird. And these are all brands that he has partnered with for public stunts. But the bus levitation, which is actually a cool levitation, he essentially he's holding on to the top of a double-decker bus with his right hand, and the rest of his body is just
I've seen
floating in place.
Floating.
And it is
I
it
thought
is
so.
yeah, it is strange that Pepsi was the sponsor for this one. It seems like Adidas makes sense because he would probably be wearing Adidas clothes, like driving around London, hanging onto this bus, floating. That seems like it would make sense. Or Mercedes, if I don't know if maybe the bus was Mercedes, but yeah, it was Pepsi. So, moving on, our next few questions are going to be about dynamite, the explosive. Now, before I ask the next question, this is just going to be a little bonus tidbit. This is worth nothing. I just want to see if you know this because it's going to pertain to a few of the questions. The Nobel Prize. Do you know who it is named after? Either of you?
I
want to say his name was Robert.
Oh, yeah. Alexander?
Nope.
So the Nobel Prize is named after Alfred Nobel.
Alfred.
Who is a
not Robert.
I got the Al.
His brother.
He's a Swedish
I got Al.
chemist and scientist, and he invented dynamite.
Oh.
Which is pretty crazy that the Nobel Prize comes from the guy who invented dynamite. So I didn't know that. Interesting tidbit.
The Peace Prize.
Yeah, it was created in the 1860s.
I thought this was supposed to be magic trivia.
Well, sometimes they are, but last week was corn. This week it's dynamite. So
yeah, it was 4 questions regarding corn, and then 1 was about the band Corn, actually.
So yeah, Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite, had a very successful career with dynamite. He founded his first nitroglycerin company, which is a key ingredient in dynamite. He founded his first company in Sweden in 1864. My question to you is, which country did he expand to first? And he expanded to several in his dynamite business. Which country did he expand to first in the following year, 1865? Is it A, Norway, B, Germany, C, USA, or D, France?
And where did he start himself?
He started in Sweden, and that is where he is originally from.
Okay. Well,
which country did he expand to first?
Norway is close to Sweden, but I feel like that's there to deter me. Germany, I would just pick them just as solidarity to our German listeners. That's really tempting. United States, I'm going to say no, and France, I'm going to say no. So it's either Sweden or Germany. But Sweden is right near Norway.
It's not Sweden. That's not an answer.
Oh, Norway and Germany.
It's Norway or Germany.
Right. So let me just decide which one's calling out to me. I'm going to say Norway, and I'll be pissed if it's wrong because it's right next to Sweden.
Locking it in?
Yeah. Peter, what do you think?
I'm going to, just because it's not Norway, I'm going to say Germany.
Okay, so he was in Sweden in 1864. In 1865, he expanded to Germany. But
I got it right.
He expanded to Norway first. You are correct. Germany, he expanded to later in that year, and that's actually where he moved to and spent a lot of his life after that.
Damn.
Still a special shout out to all of our German listeners.
Special shout out. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you were next on the list of Alfred Nobel's dynamite companies. Moving on, what is the maximum shelf life of nitroglycerin-based dynamite? Is it A, 3 months, B, 6 months, C, 12 months, D, 24 months?
Going 6 months. Locking it in. Peter, what do you think it is?
24.
That was my second choice.
The maximum shelf life of nitroglycerin-based dynamite is 12 months. Let's see. Yeah, apparently it's tricky to store them because dynamite will sweat because the nitroglycerin will kind of pool down to the bottom of the stick or whatever package it's in and kind of start sweating, and it becomes dangerous. So the way that you have to store them, obviously they expire after a year, 12 months, but you also have to flip them upside down and continue to flip them as they're being stored to prevent the nitroglycerin from accumulating in one side, because that makes it very dangerous to handle. And after 12 months, they're very dangerous because impact can set them off easier. So, yeah.
There's some dynamite safety tips for you.
So Patrick has gotten 1 or 2 right. So far.
He has 1 right.
3.
He has the Norway question. He just have 3 correct. But he has a chance to get 3 correct if he gets the next 2.
Okay. This is rough. This is hard.
Yeah. 2 more for you. They don't get much easier. TNT and dynamite are often considered to be the same. However, they are actually quite different. What is a benefit of using dynamite over TNT? So I'm going to list 4 things about dynamite. One of them is true. Okay, so dynamite over TNT. Dynamite is waterproof. Dynamite can be used to fill artillery shells. Dynamite is better for civilian earth moving. Dynamite has a longer shelf life. This is in comparison to TNT.
Okay. I want to say the waterproof one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say it has a longer shelf life.
Locking that in?
Yeah, Peter, what do you think?
I am not answering this one.
All right. He doesn't want to give his opinion because he doesn't want you to judge him based on whatever opinion he has on the dynamite issue versus TNT. So, Lucas, take it away.
Dynamite is not waterproof. That is a trait of TNT. So it's good that you switched there. Dynamite is also not used to fill artillery shells. That's another trait of TNT. So it's between civilian earth moving, which is just blowing up ground to move dirt faster or rock, and
it's probably
longer shelf life. And the correct answer is it is better for earth moving, and that is because the blast is much larger than TNT. TNT has a longer shelf life because it is not dynamite reacts to friction and like being hit hard, and that makes it so dangerous after being stored for a long time, whereas TNT does not react that same way, which makes it safer to handle for sure.
I should have studied.
Okay. That's all right. I hope you get this last one right. This is going to go. No, I do. This last week during the corn one, I thought I was going to get all 5 wrong after the first 3. So here we go. This last one has to do with the Nobel Prize for Chemistry. The question is, who won the first one? In 1901, this is when the first prize was given out for chemistry in the Nobel Prize. So I will give you the names, and then I will describe the winner and what he was recognized for. Is it Sir William Ramsay, B. Savant August Arrhenius, C. Hermann Emil Fischer, or D. Jacobus Henricus van Hoff?
He doesn't sound real.
And then,
okay.
But what was he known for? Whoever.
Well, I'll tell you. These are all the first 4 recipients. Which one was the first? This is the 1901, 1902, 1903,
The last one.
1904.
Oh wait, I'm not allowed to.
These are all recipients of the chemistry prize. But which one was the first? Sir William Ramsay, Savant August Arrhenius, Herman Emil Fischer, Jacobus Henricus van Hoff. These are all real people who received this award.
Going with the first
ahead,
one.
Pat.
Going with the first one, locking that in.
Sir William Ramsay.
Just has a good name. Got his good name. So even if he still won. So good for him. So
He did win.
regardless if I lose.
He did win. However, he won in
Peter?
1904.
Don't say it. No.
And the person who won the first one was Jacobus Henricus van Hoff. And I could be
The one that
butchering the fuck out of these names.
The one that I said didn't sound like a real person is the one
Yes.
who was.
Yep.
He was a real person.
That's the one
He
I
won-
said. Hey, I won.
He won the first. Peter gets 2 points.
I get 2 points. Yay!
Peter's.
What if Peter
Peter's
any
way
points
behind.
Peter collects, Peter can use his points and give them to somebody later down the line to have
Hey,
a
so
possible.
I have 2 points to give away. Can I give away 1 point at a time too? Can this be a rule? So that way, whenever I feel like you guys are you want
You want to make it closer? Just here's a point.
yeah. Here's a point.
But this person won the prize in recognition of the extraordinary services he has rendered by the discovery of the laws of chemical dynamics and osmotic pressure in solutions.
That sounds like a bullshit prize.
Well,
I feel like I'm gonna get a bullshit prize if I keep doing this poorly.
well, you got one right there.
Up to 10.
You're up to 10.
You guys are tied.
You're tied with me. I feel like I've kind of put myself in a hole with how hard mine are going to be next week.
I think I was not expecting this level of dynamite question, but hey, I mean it's either it's something that you know or you don't. So
I had trouble making these because I felt like the ones that were I feel like it was either really easy or pretty difficult, like these where you're just kind of guessing. Because like some of them could be like, what is dynamite made of? And it's only 3 things. And like that's, I don't know. I felt like some of them were pretty simple. So I went with some of these, but.
So tune in next week for a trivia session about corned beef hash. Just corned beef hash. 5 questions about corned beef hash. It's going to be on the molecular level.
Yeah.
Like, what is the molecular makeup of corned beef hash?
Or maybe we do like sausage or something like that for our German listeners.
Yeah, we could do that.
German sausage?
Yeah.
And just to recap, going back to our new sponsor, the Kevin Dissolver. Just a reminder for all you.
www.
Right, yeah, just a reminder for all of you because we do want you to go check them out. That's www.cashforgold.uk/42069696969/bitch I will kill you and your family %_free Albert Einstein Big Chungus 30. So yeah, make sure to check them out. Right? Actually, it says 30 and then it says 35 in another one, so we'll have to maybe clarify that. Just try both and see which one works. And that's Flaming Melon.
Well, can you
Kevin
give us both of them?
Is your code? Yeah, well, the other one is essentially the same. It's www.cashforgold.uk/42069696969/bitch I will kill you and your family %_free Albert Einstein Big Chungus 35. And the code is Flaming Melon Kevin for 20% off your next order. So yeah, just try both of those. One of them will work. We apologize for the mistake there, but yeah, go get your Kevin Dissolver. Get rid of those fucking Kevins. World will be a better place. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No, thank you, Peter, for coming on, and thanks for being our first special guest. We look forward to having you on again soon.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me. I really enjoyed doing this with you guys.
Good. All right. That was the Flaming Melon Pod.
Bye.